I rarely have the same guest on day after day, but with this issue coming up pretty quick here, I figured it would be good to make sure that we have the most accurate and up-to-date information. What am I talking about? Something a lot of you have heard plenty about when it comes to remapping the congressional seats and the state house seats. But what about county seats for the county elected board? And what about the ward maps for the next 10 years for the city of Springfield? We'll talk about some of those things here now, again, with Sangamon County Administrator Brian McFadden joining us here on the WMAY Morning News Feed. Brian, thanks for taking time with us again, and hope to get a little bit of clarity here in some of the conversation we had about this yesterday. So what's going on?
Sure. Well, let me first say I rarely want to be the same guest morning after morning, so I agree with you on that. And I appreciate the opportunity, and I really don't want to subject your listeners to another fascinating discussion on remapping, but I really felt the need to come on the show and correct a comment that was made yesterday on your show that is a complete falsehood. And I'll be kind and say maybe there's been some confusion or whatever, but the comment that the proposed county board map puts the two current African-American county board members in the same county board district is just not true at all. And just wanted to knock that down. Don't want to let something like that take hold with folks, and for some reason think that that's something that we'd even entertain doing. That would invite all kinds of issues. It would be the wrong thing to do just on the face of it, but I think it would definitely be the wrong thing to do when you look at federal rules and federal laws and federal court cases. So I wanted to knock that down, and I know they're still saying, well, there's a possibility maybe to get drawn together. Let me just make it clear: those two board members are not going to ever be in the same district drawn together. Just would not do that. We can debate a lot of things, about the map if we want, but this is not debatable.
Well, where do you think that's stemming from, though? Is it just the idea of concerns over forcing people to have primaries against each other? Because listen, I mean, sometimes when a map's drawn, it's going to happen. Population shift in areas. I haven't really seen necessarily all the different types of graphs showing the population shift of Sangamon County specifically, but how do you try to avoid that, or is it even avoidable in some instances that there might have to be some primaries?
Yeah, it's a case by case basis, but the population is always shifting, and we talked a little about this yesterday in Sangamon County. A lot of the population loss occurred in the central part of Springfield. A lot of the gains occurred in what you could call that suburban ring around Springfield, the Chathams and Shermans and Rochesters here in the county. And that's just, kind of a 50,000-foot analysis of it. So it's always shifting. It's been that way. I was involved 10 years ago with the map, the same thing. Things were shifting that direction. And when you take into account the population shift, along with the fact that the numbers bore out that there could be a new third African-American majority-minority district, so that, again, put pressure on what you did with individual districts. And then, again, we felt that drawing a new majority-minority district and then putting a white incumbent county board member in that district could be seen by some as an effort to dilute minority representation, and that's a big no-no.
Brian McFadden, he is the Sangamon County Administrator. And again, these maps, you have proposed maps that are in front of the county board, and they're going to be voting on those come Tuesday. But the Democratic Party of Sangamon County has their own proposed maps that they're putting forward. So we'll see how all this plays out. But you just wanted to make clear that the proposed map that the county has in front of it right now does not put two African Americans against each other in the same district.
Correct. Absolutely not. Okay. And it creates a third African American district. Just want to make that point clear too. And a fourth, actually, minority influence district, which has about 44%, I think, minority population.
And that's more minority influence districts than the current map has?
It's more the current existing map. Yes, it is more than the current existing map has. There's really, if you look at the population numbers in the county, the African American residential numbers or residents has grown by 11%, and it also shows a corresponding drop in white residents. But as you know, with the census and the way they had people categorize themselves this time, it's possible people could put them in, they mix themselves in a mixed race category, which is becoming more prevalent as well. But but the numbers, the census numbers, show growth in the minority population in Sangamon County, and not just in Springfield. Most of it, about 75% was in Springfield, but also in other areas of the county.
Brian, a couple of other things here. One on mapping. Another one I am going to spring on you, so I apologize in advance. But somebody just said, "Hey, ask him about this." So I'm like, "Hey, it's actually a good idea." So it'll be about animal control. Just brace for that. But
Sure.
let's talk about the Springfield ward maps. There's a lot of discussion right now in the council chambers about when this is all going to play out. 10 years ago, the city contracted with the county to, have the planning commission put some maps together. Ultimately, the final decision is going to be on the Springfield City Council. But what role will the county play in that moving forward?
Well, yeah, that's to be determined. I believe 10 years ago, and we're researching, I think both the city and the county's looking into it. It was either the Regional Planning Commission or the county clerk at the time the city contracted with them, not the county board office, I'll make that clear, but either the county clerk or the Regional Planning Commission to draw a map or to create a map that then the aldermen could review and modify as they see fit. The discussion now is the possibility of using the Regional Planning Commission. Even that's a county agency, but it has a board that consists of aldermen and county board members and other representatives throughout the community. They have a lot of demographic data. They're the county census agent. They have access to the county's GIS system. So they could logically be someone to put a map together. 10 years ago, it was really drawn based, like the county board map was drawn based upon a set of principles. The city also sent some directives to the county clerk or the Regional Planning Commission. This is how we'd like to see things done, not draw districts here or there, but try not to split precincts, try to do things like that and reflect the shift in population.
So we'll see that play out. Of course, I heard, I think Alderman Williams say that, we have to have the maps 90 days before the next election, and the next city election's not until when, like 2023 or something? So we still got some time.
It'd be the spring of 2023. So probably maybe late sometime next year. I think, generally you want to try to have maps out there as soon as possible so people know the lay of the land. So I would imagine sometime, the second part of 2022.
So we'll watch that closely. Something else that's taken a lot of attention in the previous weeks, Brian, is the relationship of the city of Springfield and Sangamon County Animal Control. Allegations all over the place, some investigations, or at least some, what do you call those, inspections taking place. Where are we at with this, and should there be more oversight or possibly even, more resources going into animal control to make sure that citizens are getting the best bang for their buck?
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some allegations around. They range everything from poor management all the way to the other end of the spectrum, that there's systematic abuse and neglect of animals at the center. So each of these, on this range of allegations, we've taken steps to address those. Starting with the allegations of abuse, we've asked the state police to investigate. That is ongoing. Not sure when that's going to wrap up. It's not the kind of thing where they call you every day and let you know what's going on.
Right.
But the sheriff requested that, so that we hope will come to a conclusion soon. We asked agriculture to Ag actually came in for 2 spot inspections. We had one yesterday as well. To look at just the kennel situation out there, and both of those spot inspections the county passed. And I think the Department of Professional Regulation was out yesterday because they regulate the kennel attendants who do the euthanizations, and they inspected, and we passed that inspection. They had some notes on some improvements that could be made, and we're open to that completely. I mean, if there's a better way to do this, by its nature, it's a very difficult business. I mean, it's been pointed out before. You get a call from one neighbor, why did you come and take my dog? And you get the call from the other neighbor saying, what took you so long to go get the dog? So it's just by its nature, but that's not an excuse. I mean, if we can do a better job, we're always open to that. So we're looking at other things. We've also contracted a firm to gather data on what other counties are doing in relation to animal control to get a baseline. Are we an outlier on this, an outlier on that? Are we doing things the same as other counties? So that all is ongoing at the moment.
Brian,
and ultimately there'll probably be some more resources. We are more than willing to put some more resources in that. Particularly, we're looking for additional veterinarian care at the center as well. So.
Gotcha. Well, I imagine that this will be something else we'll continue to talk about because Springfield aldermen have raised the city pays the county for these services, but residents also pay county taxes, so they're very cognizant of making sure that they're getting the best service possible. So we'll touch base on this again in the future. Brian McFadden, Sangamon County Administrator, greatly appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Take care.
You too. It is the WMAY morning news feed.